Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books and marketing expert, covering how the woke media absolutely hate the viral hit by Oliver Anthony, Richmond north of Richmond. They have nothing but bad to say about this song, but it's a great song. Let's get into the story. Before we do, please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate you. I'm trying to get to 30,000 subscribers, so if you can subscribe, please do subscribe. Coming from Zero Hedge, is anyone surprised? Left-wing media doesn't like Richmond north of Richmond. Leftists across America have been triggered by the song. That's probably not going to come as a shock to anyone, but the establishment media and woke social media response to Oliver Anthony's gritty coal country ballad, Richmond north of Richmond, is less than enthusiastic. Much like their reaction to Jason Aldean's Try That in a Small Town, which blew up the charts in the face of heavy media backlash, Richmond north of Richmond is being derided as a right-wing anthem laced with conspiracy theories. Try That in a Small Town goes straight for the throat in pointing out the level of anger among rural Americans and conservatives when it comes to the chaos wrought by evil leftist ideology. The message is bold. Try that in our neck of the woods and we'll rain hell down on you. Democrats attacked the song as thinly veiled racism, harkening back to the days of Southern lynch mobs. But of course, the race-baiting tactic is long worn out and no one seems to care about the accusations anymore. And rather hypocritically, leftists once again reveal their underlying racism by suggesting that a song about rising crime can only be about black people. Oliver Anthony's song is much more reserved and seems to take inspiration from protest songs of the 1960s and 1970s. The sound is also rooted in the classic country tones of performers like Hank Williams Jr., escaping the boring, overproduced robot music of the modern era. Richmond north of Richmond is simple, but Anthony's talent is undeniable. The song is also honest in its observations, so it's not surprising that the media is unsettled by it. The political left often brags about their loyalty to the working class, but like all communists, they see the working class as a tool to be exploited, not a valuable pillar of society that needs to be saved. As soon as working men speak up in a way that runs contrary to their narrative, leftists seek to slap them back down again, any way they possibly can. Initial social media complaints about the song sought to link it to racism, just as critics tried to do with Try That in a Small Town. The suggestion was that Richmond north of Richmond was a Civil War reference in favor of the Confederacy and slavery. When woke activists were educated on the fact that the phrase refers to rich politicians in Washington, D.C., they shifted to the classic argument that white America doesn't really know what hardship is and that they are in no position to complain. That's obviously nonsense, but reasoning with zealots is impossible. The corporate media has taken a more subtle approach than usual to the song, stopping short of calling it a racist theme for lynch mobs. However, they are running with the right-wing anthem argument, and in their minds, that label alone is supposed to be a very bad thing. The specific criticisms of rich men are perhaps the most interesting aspect. For example, Rolling Stone made particular reference to Reagan-era talking points like Anthony's critique of fat people living on welfare. The political left has been engaged in an aggressive campaign to make fat shaming a form of hate speech, and they treat debates over welfare and entitlement programs as archaic and outdated. It's a common method of dismissing a political conflict by pigeonholing anyone in disagreement as being a caveman. Strangely though, media commentators are even more annoyed by Richmond's lyrics referring most likely to Epstein's Island, where, quote, politicians look for minors. Rolling Stone called the reference head-turning and described Epstein's trafficking of child sex slaves to wealthy elites and powerful political leaders as alleged. The events on Epstein's Island are not a theory, they are factual and on record. Keep in mind that this is the same Rolling Stone that attacked the film Sound of Freedom, a movie about a real-life child trafficking sting, as a QAnon conspiracy theory. The New York Daily News pointed out the reference while diminishing child trafficking as, quote, the center of many right-wing conspiracy theories. According to the actual Department of Homeland Security, as part of the U.S. government, child trafficking is a global $150 billion a year business, often involving very wealthy participants. It should be said that the establishment and the political left tends to reveal their true colors in the things that they try to sabotage. The progressive attempt to diminish a talented songwriter singing about the plight of the blue-collar working man and the corruption of government indicates that these people don't care at all about the working man and are invested in government corruption. It's a reality most of us are aware of, but it's fun to hear about it in a song that makes leftists and media journalists squirm. As of Monday morning, Anthony's songs are the most popular on iTunes, according to data from KWORB. Number 1 on iTunes is Oliver Anthony Music's Rich Men of North Richmond. Number 2 on iTunes is Oliver Anthony Music's Ain't Got a Dollar. Number 3 on iTunes is Oliver Anthony Music's I've Got to Get Sober. He has several other songs within their top 20. Also from Zero Hedge, Rich Men North of Richmond tops iTunes as Voice of Working Class goes viral. The raw honesty of a former factory worker in what could be the protest song of our generation has become an internet sensation overnight. The song Rich Men of North Richmond has skyrocketed to number 1 on iTunes this weekend. Oliver Anthony, a former factory worker who decided to pursue a life in music last year and is living in the forgotten part of the U.S., Appalachia, an area plagued with an opioid crisis and abandoned factories, tells the story of the working class folk who struggle daily while being ignored and mocked by political elites. Rich Men North of Richmond was first posted on YouTube 4 days ago by Radio WV, which shows Anthony performing an acoustic performance of what some are saying is the anthem for 80+ million Americans who have been smeared, ignored, mocked, slandered, and robbed by their own government. The song has gone viral because it resonates with working class folk. It's real and raw, and just a man and his guitar, 3 dogs, and singing in his backwoods without a fancy Hollywood studio powered by artificial intelligence. One YouTuber comments, quote, I'm a 39-year-old Iraq vet and construction worker struggling like a dog to take care of 2 kids and keep a farm going when I'm not working 11-hour days. This hit so hard today, I had to stop my old Peterbilt and tear up. If Bidenomics was actually working, the average folk wouldn't care about protest songs, but they do. Coming from Outkick, Oliver Anthony's Rich Men North of Richmond song goes mega viral, leads to huge crowds at tiny North Carolina farmers market show. If there's one positive we can all agree on when it comes to social media, it's its ability to quickly share powerful stories and expose true authenticity. Oliver Anthony, a Farmville, Virginia native, and his song Rich Men North of Richmond going mega viral over the weekend is the perfect example of that. If you scrolled Instagram more than 5 minutes in the last few days, there's a very good chance you've seen Anthony, his lengthy beard, and guitar on your screen. You've probably caught yourself shouting the song's opening line, I've been selling my soul, around the house as well. Radio WV shared a clip of Rich Men North of Richmond to Instagram and YouTube on August 9th, and the video has garnered well over 10 million views combined on both platforms. Anthony's Instagram account has picked up 430,000 followers in less than a week's time as well. The song, which was also shared by Joe Rogan on his own Instagram, speaks to the working class American, the old souls living in today's world, and the politicians north of Richmond, Virginia, attempting to control everyone's lives. Shortly after Anthony's song went viral on social media, he announced that he'd be playing a show at the Morris Farm Market, it was a free show, in Barco, North Carolina on Sunday. Barco has a population of under 600 people, and all 600 plus a few hundred more seem to show up for his show over the weekend. Anthony struggled with mental health and coping with alcohol in the past and was about 30 days sober when Radio WV reached out and asked him to record a song for the YouTube channel. He agreed and gifted us with Richmond, north of Richmond. It's safe to say we haven't seen the last of Anthony. This could end up being the music story of the year, as it's clear the man has a very bright future in the country music world. 2023 is a year of change. It's obvious that things are not the way they used to be. People are struggling, but people are also standing up and pushing back. We do the Bud Light videos on my channel. I've done more than 100 of these things, talking about how people are saying no to getting pushed on the woke agenda. Of course, the woke are not going to like it. Media is going to push back, but there's enough alternative media, and especially since Elon Musk bought Twitter, there's an ability to get the word out with other narratives. It's hard to even understand how powerful it is just to have the ability to get your message out when you express yourself. Try That in a Small Town by Jason Aldean was a great example of how a narrative that challenges the leftist communist mindset can get out there and can resonate with people and remind people, you know what, you can stand up for yourself. There is also a major nationalist vibe in this country where people are not ready to close the door on what used to be America. We want America. We want everyone to be treated equal. We want everyone to have opportunity. And most importantly, we want our constitutional rights. We are not going to be giving them up for whatever elevated themes the media or government people are trying to push. We're not giving up our rights. We're not giving up our country. We're going to keep going forward. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. And I'll see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.